Hi, I'm Emma, LCA Specialist at Ecochain, and I'm going to show you how you can set your workspace settings in Mobius. It's actually very important to know how to do this because when you have the wrong calculation settings, they might also give you the wrong results or no results at all. So it's very important to know how you can troubleshoot this and where you can find these settings. First off, you can find the settings of your workspace under the workspace name. And then you get a drop down menu, and below the name list of all of your workspaces you find the workspace settings. Then this panel will appear and you can see that the workspace settings actually consist of 3 sections. So the first one is where you can change the name of the workspace. The second one are the impact settings, that is what we're going to focus on in this video. The third one are the workspace permissions. So in Mobius you can change the permissions of who can view what workspace or edit it. We're not going to discuss that further in this video, but we'll explain it elsewhere. But the most important settings that you're going to work with probably the most are the impact calculation settings. The main thing here are probably 2 different things, and those are the impact method that you're calculating your results with and the database that you're using to calculate that with. Over the years, since LCA existed, many different impact calculation methods were developed. For example, in different regions or at different points in time. These are all based on scientific models that indicate a way to calculate the impact of things in certain categories. Which method is the best for you and your product depends on what sector you're operating in and what kind of LCA you're doing and how you want to use your results, so it's often not straightforward. What's nice to know is that in Mobius we offer several impact methods. So we have, for example, the environmental footprint method. This is the default setting that your workspace will be in when you create a workspace. This is a method that is for European products that are not in the construction industry. We also have other methods such as the EN 15804, which is for construction products in the EU. We also have the IPCC method for different carbon footprint calculations. And then we have this whole method pack that OpenLCA has, which includes like CML, recipe, and a lot of other things. And finally, we also have the bepalingsmethode. So this is like the Dutch construction industry. So there's a lot to choose from there. For now, we're just going to go with the environmental footprint method. The second thing we need to do is to decide the database that we want to work with. So every method is a little bit different for every database version. And for that reason, it's really important to set the database right, and we need 2 drop downs for that. So the first one is the impact assessment method and the second one is the preferred database. So let's say that we want to use EcoEvent 3.8, then we select EcoEvent 3.8 here and then also in the preferred databases. And what this does is also set our database filter in the database search when we're modeling our products to EcoEvent 3.8 automatically every time, just to make sure that you're working with this one database and the method works perfectly well with your database. So this is how you can use that. The third thing that we can choose is whether we want to normalize our results. That means that they are all converted to the same kind of unit, and so you can add them up, for example, or compare different impact categories. For now we're not going to do that, so we're just going to leave it on none. Then finally you need to choose a impact category that you want to see by default whenever you open a product. So this is not super important because you can always change the impact category while you're looking at your products as well. But this is nice to put it on one that you are going to look at often, so you will have that one by default. Then we have 2 toggles left. So the single score one is related to the normalization, so we're going to leave it at no for now. And finally we have this exclude long-term impact one. Generally speaking, you don't want to touch that one. It's by default the way that most methods are calculated, so unless you have a very good reason to touch it, just leave it as it is. But we do have this advanced option if at some point in your LCA journey you want to do something differently with that. So this is how you set your impact settings, and finally we click on save and then we have changed them. If you're having trouble finding out what method you should use for your type of product or the goal that you have, we have a lot of resources available online, and otherwise you can always consult our experts, for example through Talk to an Expert, or send us a message. Good luck with doing your own LCAs in Mobius.